You got Nintendo news, right?
What do you mean I've got Nintendo
I mean, not
news?
Nintendo, Sony news. You got your 3 topics?
Yeah, I've
Or
got
your
the free news. Free news story. Yeah.
Well, the last time you only did one because you decided you were going to try to tell me.
Oh, there was no news that week.
What is up, everybody, and welcome to Season 3, Episode 2 of the Nintendo PlayStation Podcast. I am Bobby, the Nintendo Guru, joined by the greatest guest host in all the land.
I'm going. See you later. Come on. See, really, I just ducked under the table there for comic effect. I didn't go anywhere. I couldn't be bothered to move.
My best friend in all the land, Toby Thornton. What is up, Toby?
How you doing, Bobby? I'm drinking a cup of coffee right now.
We could hear the echoey goodness that was just happening.
But look, do you have these in America?
Here
Ferrero
we
Rochers.
go. Yes, we have these things.
Yeah?
Why do we get
Are
into
they
this?
popular?
Why? Oh, they're okay. They're all right. They're not super popular.
Yeah. They're pretty big over here, especially around Christmas time.
Well, of course, yeah, of course. Around Christmas time, that's a big thing over there. You act like this is the first time we've ever spoken before. Do you not remember when we did the Geekcast and Alan sent your wife and my wife a bunch of those?
No, I don't remember Alan. Who's Alan? I remember.
That's right. I don't remember having a wife either, so it's okay.
We did some gift exchanges, and I sent you some pretty nice stuff that you just trashed on.
I don't remember that.
And you
I remember you
really,
sending me
really...
some. I remember you sending me penis pasta.
Oh yeah, I did, didn't I? I bet you gobbled that right up.
Oh yeah, I was all about to. I was putting them all up in my mouth. I was loving life. I think about that, and I was like, "What in the hell is this?" Yeah, that was good. That was fun. I gotta do it again this year, man.
Yeah,
you know, definitely. Like that would be cool. Like I'd be down with sending you some Christmas gifts.
Yeah,
be fun.
We should do that.
Be fun
for real.
Let's kick this episode off like we do each and every episode with our Geek Outs.
Geek Outs confirmed.
Oh, you were such a piece. Toby, what are you geeking out about today?
I'm geeking out about awesome games done quick. It's rolled around yet again. The speedrunning charity event. I'm absolutely loving it, and it gives me loads and loads of stuff to watch as I'm working and listening to. And some of the standout ones this time, I think, are the Castlevania runs. Because what they tend to do is, if they're doing a bunch of different games from the same series, they'll put them all in a block.
Okay.
So then they'll have like Castlevania Simon's Quest, and then Castlevania 3, and then Symphony of the Night, and then Dawn of Sorrow, just a bunch of different ones altogether.
Nice.
So it's really interesting seeing how they manipulate the physics in the games and the glitches, and how sort of certain things carry over from different games, and some games are just totally different in terms of movement and stuff. So it's really interesting. And the Tomb Raider 2 PS1, well, they did the PC version, but yeah, Tomb Raider 2 was a really good one as well.
A lot of grunts and moans that were getting you excited.
Yeah, actually there was, and it brought me right back, Bobby.
I bet it did. It did.
To my teenage self.
And listen, for those that listened for the first time, that's just a dig. A couple episodes, we had a thing because he was excited about the same grunts being in the new Tomb Raider game. That's all. It's not.
Who doesn't like grunts?
I don't know. Myself, I am geeking out about something, Toby, that you're going to be very jealous about.
Oh man,
what is it? I was on a podcast yesterday.
I know what this is. That's what it's on Twitter.
Yeah, man, with Danny and Benji over on Switch Island. I did their companion podcast, essentially, which is basically like what you talk about what games you would take on a desert island,
Yeah.
and it was fun, man. I love those guys. Those guys are fantastic. They are such nice guys. I only got to meet those two. I didn't get to meet the whole entire team. But I've actually laid down an invitation to both of them to come on this show. And so potentially the next few weeks, we might get one or both on here. So
super cool.
Yeah.
I cannot wait.
Yeah, and I said to them, I said, I got to tell you guys, Toby doesn't like guests. Toby doesn't like me. He don't like people. And they were like, well, of course, he's British. We understand that. I said, no. He really despises guests. Like, he's canceled on me in the past. Just been like, well, you have your guests. You're fine. And I was like, so I just stopped bringing guests on the show because he was just like really nasty when he was really nasty. He was really nasty when I would.
You're blowing this all out of proportion.
I'm not. I'm not.
I'm not really like that, people. Bobby's just.
That's a lie. You are totally like that. And
look,
so I was like, wait a minute. So then I said, listen, guys, but I know for a fact that Toby loves your work and would be so ecstatic to have you guys come on the show. So we're going to work on that. We're going to make that happen. That'll be in 2019, super early 2019. We're going to make that happen.
Super early 2019.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm doing an accent. I'm English.
I know. But those two, oh my God, it was such a blast. The show was like 45 minutes, like 2 hours we talked. Yeah. Like it was one of those things like you instantly click and I'm so ready.
The thing is, Bobby,
I'm so ready to kick Toby out of here and upgrade my British people. Like you've
got the gift of gab, Bobby. So
that I do. That's a problem. I don't know if it's a gift. Curse might be more like it.
A more apt description is probably verbal diarrhea. So.
I said to those guys too. I said, look, I apologize for keeping guys up late because I know that I can just really ratchet off. And they said, my apologies. And they're like, no, we loved it. And I'm thinking to myself, like, how could they love this? Like, how could they really enjoy this? They're probably just being polite because they like me. And I'm like,
probably.
Yeah. You know what? Shut your face. It's not the truth.
It is,
oh, here we come.
They say sorry to everything.
You're not Canadian, you scumbag. Right. You don't get to try this.
True. If somebody walks into you in a shop and bashes you on accident or whatever, you say sorry to them because you got in their way. That's just what English people are like, Bob.
Don't act like you people are nice.
We are nice.
Let me explain something to you, brother.
Just not to our friends.
Anybody who's listening to the show knows that you're not nice. They know you're not nice.
No, I'm the nicest person you know, Bob.
Sean Capre, he's the nice one. Not Capre. You. Sean Capre, he's the nice one, not you. Like, I don't understand.
Sean's nice as well, but...
Sean's very nice. You, on the... Well, you know what? Sean's a bastard, too. He's not very nice. He was nice in the very beginning. And then he just totally went off the rails. Although he's starting to get back to his nice self again. So,
he's starting to get more sleep again, probably. So.
I don't know, but he's been sick, man. He's been sick.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, I feel bad for him. And I'm going to keep on you. You really need to start listening to If We Ran Nintendo again.
I do listen sometimes.
No, not sometimes, man. All the time.
I'll tell you what, Bobby, right? Next time it's out on YouTube, just send me a link and say, listen. And then ask me a question.
I have to give you a personal invite on.
No, because sometimes I see it and I think I'll watch that later, and then I don't get round to it because I forget about it because other things come up. If you just send me it and go listen right now.
So not only do I have to promote it everywhere, I have to then go promote it to my friend, to my best friend in all the land, or else he's not going to listen.
That's not what you called me today, is it, Bobby?
I did. I followed it up and fixed it.
Well, Yeah, you fixed it. 'Cause you're always breaking it, aren't you, Bobby?
Listen, I just was trying to be, comical. That's all. It was for the show. It's just a bit for the show. I love
you
you.
are comical.
You know I love you. It's okay.
You didn't say you loved me last night.
Well, dude, it's midnight here, and you're texting me telling me you love me, and I'm like, this is creepy, man.
Every episode, right? You start off, I'm so tired. I was up really late last night. I was chatting to someone on Discord or whatever, and I was doing Nintendo Talk Live, and it ran over by 4 hours. I don't know what I'm doing with my life. Like, that's what I expect from you now, Bobby. Every time.
Well, it was midnight, and I was trying to get some sleep so I could be up early, so I could do some stuff for this show to prep, because I screwed up yesterday and forgot to prep, and I did everything except for one thing, and I'll have to do that between shows now, so whatever. But anyway, listen, let's jump into some news, okay? Because people are tired of hearing us argue.
Todd Oxtra especially.
You know what? Todd Oxtra can don't start. Don't he gets enough play on it if we ran Nintendo stuff. We don't need to bring him here too. So we're gonna push on. You're gonna do the first news thing. So for those that because we don't do this all the time, because sometimes Toby likes to just bring one news topic. This is where Toby will bring 3 Sony topics news. Yeah, let me spit it out properly. Let's try this again. I'm not going to edit this out. You're just going to hear it roll because I'm just an idiot. But anyway, Toby brings 3 Sony news articles, and I pick the one that I want to hear. I bring 3 Nintendo news articles. He picks the one that he wants to hear. So there we go. So Toby, what did you bring for us today?
Story 1. Hitman HD Enhanced Collection runs higher than 1080p on standard PS4s. Story 2. God of War PS4 director says plan for DLC was too ambitious. And story 3. Resident Evil 2's limited time one-shot demo is live now.
We'll do the God of War story, because I don't give a damn about Resident Evil.
Dude, that Resident Evil story...
What, the DLC or the game's live now?
No, there's a demo. It's a special sort of demo.
Just God of War.
We're not going into that now because you've gone and picked God of War, haven't you?
Yeah, well, I picked the best. That's why.
All right.
What are you about?
Lots of us have played the loved Santa Monica Studio excellent God of War on PS4. While it's generously sized game with plenty to see and do aside from the core story, many fans were left wondering whether any DLC would follow later down the line. Obviously, no extra content was released aside from photo mode and New Game Plus. As it turns out, the game's creative director Cory Barlog did have some kind of plan in mind for DLC, but it would have been too much. Speaking on the Game Over Greggy show, Barlog said he had a really fun idea for DLC, but it was ultimately too ambitious. He stated it would have been on a similar level to The Last of Us Left Behind or Uncharted The Lost Legacy. In other words, enough to be its own standalone product. It would end up being its own thing, Barlock said. Rightfully so, everybody had said to me, dude, this is so crazy. This isn't DLC, it's a little too big. It's fascinating to know what the director was cooking up, but it's possible it will wind up in a future sequel if it's strong enough concept. Were you disappointed at the lack of DLC for God of War, or did you appreciate the one and done approach? So, I think that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, man, it is. It is
because I mean, firstly, the game itself is very big and very impressive, and it does feel like a complete package.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some games feel like they need DLC to make them, worth the price that you pay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it would have been interesting to see a standalone thing. But then sometimes I think maybe it's just better to hold back those things, like because it might turn out to be a 6-hour DLC if it's big enough to be its own standalone thing. But why not just stretch that into a sequel and have it come out sooner?
I would prefer a 6-hour DLC. Like I prefer little bite-sized DLC things like that. Like because I think about like Breath of the Wild, and I wasn't really impressed with the DLC that came. I would have liked a better story a nice little story chunk. But like I think about like because I think about like what was it? Not Last of Us. What was the Last of Us DLC called again?
Left Behind.
Left Behind. I liked that. I loved that DLC package.
Mm-hmm.
It was nice. It felt like a little meaty piece of but it was fun. It was really fun. But I didn't play the Uncharted one. I care less about it. You know what I mean? Like I was just like, because it wasn't to me. It wasn't really it really wasn't Uncharted. And I don't want to hear this nonsense of like, oh well, the gameplay mechanics are there. And no, Nathan Drake is Uncharted. Like I don't want to play with other characters. You know what I mean? Like I want to play with. It'd be no different than like if I was playing Last of Us and I'm not playing with Joel or Ellie or whatever. Like I want to play with. Like that's the whole. Actually, they're the characters that I love. That's what I'm gonna say. You know.
I do agree with you slightly there because I did play a little bit of Uncharted Lost Legacy, and while it's as gorgeous as the main game, like you say, the mechanics are all there. The characters are interesting, but it didn't really feel like the core Uncharted game. And people might say, oh, it's not meant to, but it's still called Uncharted at the end of the day. And it just felt like it didn't have as much heart in it, if you get what I mean. It's like, they had some ideas left over and they wanted to tell a little side story. I don't know, like, I find it... I mean, you said you would have preferred a sort of larger chunk of Zelda DLC that's its own compact story, but I think that I don't know. Probably I don't know if it would have felt like Zelda because Zelda is such a big, sprawling, massive adventure. And after playing Breath of the Wild, I wouldn't want to play a 6-hour cut down version of that.
Yeah.
So like, I would prefer that they hold ideas back for sequels and just have them come out sooner.
I mean, we could get into a whole damn.
Because I think games are too long now anyway. For a
start. I mean, some of them get pretty long in the tooth, especially Sony games. Sony games feel like commitments anymore. Like there's no such thing as a 20-hour game for Sony anymore. You're putting. I feel like you're putting an easy 50 hours in.
That's even linear games. Like, I'd expect you to spend 50 to 100 hours on an open world sandbox game because there's so much random stuff you can do and so much to explore. In a linear adventure like Uncharted, like that was 2-3 hours too long at least. They can cut these experiences.
I felt like Uncharted 4 was definitely too long.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I found myself at points just going like, man, how much further is this game? Like, how much longer do I have? I enjoyed that game, don't get me wrong, but like I felt like it was just a little too long.
Yeah, I think that's the key question. When you're playing a game, no matter how much you're enjoying it, if you start to think, I wonder how much longer is left in this game. Like when you start questioning that, I think that's the point where it should have cut off.
Yeah, you're right. Absolutely. Okay, so my 3 stories are story number 1. This is a rumor, but it's a story. Data miner uncovers SNES games in Nintendo Online. Switch beating PS4 in Japan. Valve reveals most popular Steam games played with a Nintendo Switch Pro controller.
I'm interested in that last one.
Of course you would be. You know what? Just garbage. Just garbage with you.
Dude, that's interesting.
People would have rather heard the data mine games, but that's fine.
Well, people might hear about that another time, Bobby.
Oh boy. Okay. So this article comes from Nintendo Soup, and it says, since May 2018, Steam users on both PC and Mac have been able to enjoy select games with Nintendo Switch Pro Controller. Today, Valve, the owners of Steam, created a special page showing players the top games played with the Pro Controller. Games played with the Switch Pro Controller more than any other type. I don't know why they totally repeated themselves here. This is crazy. The article totally repeats itself. So anyway, the full... that's weird. That's strange. The full list is below. So, Games that are most played with the Switch Pro Controller. Final Fantasy 15.
Interesting. Very interesting, Bobby.
No Man's Sky.
Ugh, right.
Dragon Quest 11. A Hat in
Yep.
Time. The Witcher 3.
Yeah.
NBA 2K19. Monster Hunter World. Naruto. Dragon Ball Fighter Z. Yakuza 0. Soul Calibur 6. Dead Cells. Brawlhalla. Crosscode. Grand Theft Auto 5.
Really?
Yeah. Overcooked 2. Dead by Daylight. Stardew Valley. Ni no Kuni 2. Which I didn't know Ni no Kuni 2 was PC. I thought that was a PlayStation exclusive.
The first one wasn't it?
I thought so. Maybe the second one wasn't. Maybe the second one they did put.
Maybe it was just self-published, the second one.
Nier Automata, Let It Die, Mega Man 11, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, Dark Souls Remastered, Disgaea 5 Complete, WWE 2K19, Hollow Knight, Enter the Gungeon, Fallout 4, Warframe. Holy crap, this list is forever.
Well, let's just stop there, Bobby, right?
Yeah,
what this says to me, right, is people love that controller for a start, right? And this list of games...
Okay, so wait, okay. Here, hold on. So that's just a list of all the games that people play.
All right, so that wasn't in any particular order.
So the games played with Nintendo Switch Pro controllers more than any other type. The Messenger, Monster Hunter World, Rivals of Aether, Steven Knight Save the Light. Let's see if there's anything else. Mega Man 11, Dragon Quest 11, Brawl Out, which a lot of the games that are on here feel very, they feel very Nintendo-esque.
Well, yeah, the first list that you read, as you was reading it out, I was like, okay, that's on Switch, that's on Switch, that's on Switch.
Yeah.
And like the ones that weren't, very feasibly could be and probably should be ported to Switch.
Yeah.
And I just think that's really interesting, because I'm sure that they could get The Witcher 3 on Switch.
There's rumor.
Maybe downgraded a little bit graphically. GTA 5, I'm sure that could run as long as, I don't know, as long as it'd fit on a cartridge. You might have to download half of that game, but who knows? But
no, it's rumored. It's rumored that Witcher 3 is coming.
Yeah.
There's been there's always been rumored about GTA 4 coming. It's interesting. It's interesting to see.
It really is, Bobby. And I don't know, because people have been playing PC games with Xbox controllers for years and years and years. It's like the default. Everyone has that as, if you've got a PC game on Steam, it's likely that it's going to support an Xbox controller. So it's nice to see that more companies are supporting the Switch Pro controller, because it's a flipping good controller, isn't it?
Really is. It really is.
It's not surprising to me that some people were choosing that over the Xbox controller.
Okay, so next up, rather than us doing topics this week, I decided I wanted to do something a little different. And what I wanted to do was I wanted to do predictions for 2019. So I wanted to myself do 3 PlayStation predictions as well as you, and then we both did 3 Nintendo predictions. So we'll start with the Sony stuff.
All right.
So I'll let you go first. What's one of your predictions? And if we repeat, like if we happen to get one identical, then whatever. I don't care about that.
I haven't got any backups, so
I don't have backups either. You'll discuss it and then go, hey, or I'll go, hey, I had it on my list too, and I'll So go ahead. What's your first one?
Okay, I think that Call of Duty Black Ops Battle Royale mode, Blackout, will become free to play, and it will be massively successful.
Have you played it at all?
I've not, but I've watched a lot of people play it, and I would like to play it myself. So I just think that Battle Royale games, as proven by Fortnite, can be wildly successful.
If done properly, yeah.
If done properly, and I think that if they figure out the monetization situation in that game, then they could go free to play.
Yeah.
And I think that, because once they've exhausted the sales of Black Ops 4. I think that was the biggest selling feature. It was widely advertised, and I think that they've made their core sales for that game now, and I think that they can get so much more out of it just by putting that free to play. So.
Yeah, I don't understand why they wouldn't, honestly, because I feel like, well, I mean, like PUBG charges, and Fortnite's free, and then they just basically go like, "Hey, here's some skins and stuff like that you can buy." If I was Call of Duty, that's what I would do.
Yeah, I mean,
and I feel like the way to do DLC for that, not DLC, but the way to charge for that is to do costumes of previous Call of Duty or other Call of Duty suits and stuff, like maybe different outfits from different Call of Duty games. And that would be really cool.
Actually, I think I would be happy just to pay, if they made it its own standalone thing, I would pay 10, 15 quid for that on its own, and then just play it. So.
It's first person, correct?
Yeah.
So man, that might be a little in terms of like outfits, but I mean, other players would see you per se. Now, so they do battle royale where like you die, you're dead, you're out.
Yep.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. I
think the only problem is I think they've only got one map. So I think that's going to get tired.
So it's just one, and that's it.
It's just one big map, and it doesn't evolve like it does in Fortnite. So I think that unless they've announced plans for future maps, like
I feel like Fortnite does it really good. You know what I mean? Like they have that one map, but because they're evolving it every 10 weeks, and they'll even evolve it like week to week, like make slight changes where it's pretty crazy what they do with that. All right, so my first prediction is PS5 will be announced in 2019, and a handheld will also be announced, and it will offer Switch-like gameplay with remote play.
Yeah, dude, I saw on Twitter last night somebody had a Vita, and they were playing Spider-Man PS4 on their Vita via remote play.
Mm-hmm.
And it looked and ran really well.
Yeah.
And I was like, if they can figure out that streaming technology and have it work better for people, then
I feel like Vita was a test.
It could make it viable, yeah.
Yeah. I feel like Vita was a test. Now they have to figure out a way to correlate that. You know what I mean? So that way it's... Because the problem with Vita was Sony dropped the ball a bit with that, especially with the memory cards.
Memory cards, features it didn't need, like the back touch. And all that, like,
so if they can get that down to say, because ultimately I feel like what they would have to do is the PS5 would have to come in order for this to work. I feel like a $500 price range, 6 max is the way they do it. Whether that's $400 for the PS5 for the home console, and then another $200 for the handheld, or $300 and $200. I feel like that's probably the best solution. It's going to be hard enough of a sell to sell 2 items as it is, but I think it's something they need to really strongly look at. And I would probably even go as far as to go like, hey, if you buy this Vita type or this handheld type thing, it's only for the PS4 or PS5. There's only a connection between the two. You can't play standalone games on it.
What if it had a online store where you could download digital versions of PlayStation 4 games?
No. I would, at the beginning, I would not do that. I would make it, because at least in my estimation, in the start, the whole concept is this is going to give you a Switch-like experience. You want people to be able to go like, I could play my PS5 games at home or on the go, because that's the appeal right now. Now, where you run into a problem is, how do you get around like things like flights and things of that nature? Like, that's, I think, where you run into a little bit of jam, where like if I'm on a plane, I can just bust my Switch out and play. But there's no Wi-Fi connection with the Switch. It's just, I'm just playing. Where if you don't have a Wi-Fi connection, because they're not going to let you turn your cell phone on and run a hotspot. Like, that's not going to happen. So I feel like that might be a bit of an issue with them, where it might be lacking a little bit. But they gotta. I feel like you have to make it where that handheld is special to the PS5.
Mm.
That's just my opinion.
The more I think about it, I don't think that they're going to do that, but it would be cool.
It wouldn't surprise me. I feel like they're in trouble. I feel with the home market. Like, I mean, at least in Japan, they're getting stomped right now. That one of the articles I had was talking about how like Switch is like doubling the PS4 right now.
Yeah.
In Japan, and they're pacing to actually outsell them ultimately overall in lifetime sales. So because the PS4 just hit 91 million units, which is a huge number.
That's approaching
Wii numbers.
Wii numbers,
and it's approaching PS1 and Wii numbers. So
it was PS3. I don't know.
No, it was PlayStation 1.
Was it?
Yeah, I was looking at it today. Well, I just looked at the article, Toby. Come on, stop it. Stop. Don't question me. No, but anyway, so as that's happening, they might start getting pressure from Japan, corporate Japan, to be like, no. We need to have something to appease. Because in Japan, the Wi-Fi is super amazing there. Like, they really have strong Wi-Fi. So their internet infrastructure is much better over there. I mean, dude, think about it. Like, they're streaming.
I don't know, dude. Like,
they're streaming Resident Evil 7 and Odyssey in Japan.
I don't know. I think that they wouldn't want to have a third pillar to support. I think PSVR has replaced any sort of handheld that they
I don't know, man. I mean, they might be trying, but we don't. To me, it depends on how they did during Christmas time. If they didn't knock it out the park at Christmas time, I just have a feeling that, Nintendo, Sony's just gonna drop it. It's just gonna be like, I'm gonna drop like a bad habit. They're notorious for that, man.
We'll see.
We will see. Yeah. So do you have any PS5 predictions?
No, I did have, but I decided not to. I mean, my only prediction is that we won't see it this year.
Okay. Go ahead.
Not even gonna have a reveal.
We'll see.
But my next prediction is Shenmue 3 gets delayed again by a few months, but it does come out in 2019, and it gets a 65 on Metacritic.
Woo! I think
people are going to be disappointed.
I think that game is going to be a dumpster fire, man. It's.
I'm so worried about it.
It's got problems, man. It's in trouble. Yeah, I'm with you there. Yeah, I just don't know, man. I think they're definitely in trouble. Last of Us 2 gets an official release date of 2020, and they will do a duo launch with PS4 and PS5.
Interesting.
Very similar to what the Nintendo did with Breath of the Wild, but I think that's what's gonna happen.
That's cool. I like that prediction.
Yeah, I think it's gonna happen.
Well, my prediction is The Last of Us Part 2 will release this year, and it will win Game of the Year 2019. From many places, like the Game Awards.
See, I disagree. I think Animal Crossing is coming out this year, and it's gonna.
Tough competitor.
I think you're right. I'm telling you what. Right now, that's the only reason I'm keeping my PS4 right now. Like I've been so tempted to just get rid of it and trade it in, and that's the game. I'm actually gonna, whenever they officially announce like it's coming this time, I'm gonna fire up Last of Us 1 and play it again. And then cool. I love that game. That game is I can't wait for it. This is a good one. Sony will double down with the PS Classic line and announce a PS2 Classic.
Okay.
And it'll bomb.
You're right. If it comes out, it will bomb.
Yeah.
I think they will not learn from their mistake.
Yeah. I think that it's not I think it's a mistake if they do. But I just have a feeling that, like, in their mind, because the PS2 is, like, the greatest selling console of all time, you know, they'll be like, people will die for this thing. Like, we got to do it. And I think it's a mistake. But
Yeah,
who knows? Maybe the PS1 classic did so bad.
You know what? Like, I've been thinking a lot lately. Like, why don't these companies just put out new working versions of old consoles?
It would make a lot of sense to me, man. Seriously.
And just have HDMI output on them.
Mm-hmm.
Put your cartridge in, put your disc in, works like before.
Yeah.
All your old controllers work. It just goes to HDMI. Because there are so many retro collectors out there that appreciate physical media. They don't want to have these download only or these whatever's built in only.
Yeah.
They just want the convenience of playing retro consoles on modern TVs.
Yeah.
And it's so expensive. People spend hundreds and hundreds of pounds on these really complicated wires and setups to make their old consoles look good on modern TVs. So why don't they just do that?
I agree. I'm with you. Okay, so that wraps up the Sony predictions for both of us for 2019. Now we're going to move into the Nintendo predictions. And what I'd like to do, Toby, honestly, is I'm going to keep this in a separate note thing.
Mm-hmm.
And as things happen, just have a grade, and then like at the end of 2019, revisit this and see who who was correct
for both Sony and Nintendo.
Yeah, of course. What the hell are you?
Well, you're the Nintendo guy, and you're talking about, I'm going to have a separate folder. Like,
no,
you never know.
Separate folder for both. Like, I'm going to take it. Cool. Oh, shut up.
Cool.
Oh,
cool,
my
Bobby,
God.
yeah.
I'm going to hurt you. Okay.
You don't care about PlayStation, man. So.
Not really. I mean, they just let me down recently. The past couple of years, all right. Whatever. Don't get me started.
Let's get going.
Don't get me started. Okay, so 3 Nintendo predictions now. I'll start off because this is my part of the show. Animal Crossing will be Nintendo's big game for E3. The booth will be Animal Crossing themed with a launch date of December 2019.
Yep, 100% lock it in. I believe you. Confirmed.
Do you really believe me or no?
I do.
Okay.
I do believe that.
Yeah, I just have this feeling, man. I really, after they announced Yoshi for March, because originally I was like, it's coming in March. It's going to happen in March. And then when they announced it to be 2019, when they announced Yoshi to be in March, I was just like, they're not going to put those two games near each other, I think. I think they're going to separate them a little bit. Yeah. December, they might drop it in the summer, but I just don't think that'll happen. We'll see. I think December, they drop in December, and it kind of gives people time until it rolls around to the spring, and then we'll see. Go ahead, which one are your predictions?
Metroid will not release this year, but it will be shown at E3, and we will see that it is both third and first person.
Ooh.
So you've got the option. Man,
that would be amazing. That I would love that, because I would buy. I'm hesitant to play it. I'll be honest with you. Me personally, I'm very hesitant to play it. But man, it would turn into an absolute day one purchase for me.
Yeah.
Oh man, I like that one. It's not.
So would you play the whole? Would you play the whole game in third person then?
Yes.
Because you don't get on well with first person.
Yeah, I would. For me, third person all day long, and I would hands down beat it. I would play it to completion.
So I think the shooting would be best in first person, but the platforming third person. So.
Nah, whatever. I could care less. Because they could put like a lock on type thing.
Well, I don't know. I mean, in the old games, when you turn into a morph ball, it's always third person.
Yes.
Obviously, that would make you feel really sick.
Ooh, man. Exactly. I have a Metroid prediction as well, that Nintendo will announce Metroid Prime Trilogy 3 to be released in 2019. But they are not doing... Prime 4 will not hit in 2019. I don't think I honestly don't think we see Prime until 2021. That's my
I think that it was barely even started when they unveiled that logo.
I agree. Everybody's all up in arms about how this thing was becoming bull crap. This thing, if they had any gameplay footage or any footage at all, we would have gotten more than a static image. Like they are, and honestly,
the logo isn't even the proper logo. It's like it looks photoshopped.
Yeah, it's garbage. They're not ready for this thing at all. Go ahead, Toby. What's your this is me, right? What's your next prediction?
Yeah, you just had Metroid, right? This is a prediction that I don't think you're going to believe, but Retro's game is finally shown at E3. It will not be Star Fox Racing. Instead, they have been working with Nintendo on a new top-down Zelda.
Holy crap. Wow.
They've proven they can handle the Donkey Kong franchise. Now they're going to prove that they can handle Zelda.
I don't think that that's the case. But, man, I wouldn't be upset if they took on Zelda. Like a top-down capacity. Like, I would be really... Like, of any team, if you're going to give it to somebody that's not a Zelda team. But I just don't see that happening, man.
Dude, they handed it off to Capcom for several games.
This is true.
I'm not saying that Star Fox Racing isn't a thing.
I
think that might be just another project for later. But
interesting. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. Man, that just you just hit me with a shot on that one. And I was like, because I didn't see that coming. Okay. Okay. So Nintendo will drop the SNES games in September 2019, just before the 1-year mark of Nintendo Online, to entice people to re-sign for another year.
That's clever. I like that.
Sounds very, very Nintendo-esque to kind of keep you asking, when's it coming? And then they're like, oh, by the way, here you go. We need you to re-up your subscription, so here's a little thing.
Yeah, I can see that happening. I mean, I think it would be nice to have them sooner.
Yeah.
But it makes more sense for them to do something like that.
Yeah, I agree.
Just because Nintendo, you know.
Yeah.
All right, so this one might be a little bit of a lengthy one because it's got a list in it.
Oh, God.
Nintendo will announce the N64 Classic. No rare games will be on the system. However, there will be 15 to 20 games on there. So I've got a list of 20 games. At least 15 of these will be correct. I guarantee it.
You're really going to make me go through a list with you here?
I'll read it out very quickly, boy.
Okay, go ahead.
So this is just proof to you that we don't need rare games. Bomberman 64.
No.
Mystical Ninja.
No.
Castlevania 64. Wave Race. Ocarina of Time. Majora's Mask. Pokemon Snap. Pokemon Stadium. Turok. Mario 64. Mario Kart. Mario Party 2. Star Fox 64. Paper Mario. Smash Bros. Rayman 2. Yoshi's Story. Excite Bike. Pilot Wings. Kirby 64. Crystal Shards. There you go. 20 pretty damn good games. At least 15 of which are guaranteed to be on this console.
Because the third-party ones aren't coming. Turok's not coming.
Dude, it could.
Turok's not coming, man.
Turok's a great game.
Yeah, man. But I think that's caught up in like licensing hell. That's not happening.
They can figure it out. It's not as complicated as some licensed stuff. So.
I disagree, Toby. I don't think it's gonna happen, brother.
Do you not?
I just don't. I mean, listen, it might. I think it will. I think if Nintendo learned anything, if they're smart, they would steer completely away from this N64 Classic nonsense.
Why, dude?
Because them games are going to look like garbage.
No, dude. If you watch people emulate N64 games, in HD on PC.
You're not getting HD games, so stop it. It's not going to be HD. You're going to get. You're going to get.
Have HDMI compatible leads,
and that's all.
Like
and that's all you're going to get. It's not.
And the games will up-res, and
they will not up-res. They will not up-res. They will be
the frame rate will still be atrocious. The draw distance will still be atrocious.
God, you are insane. You're insane.
We'll have sharp edges, Bobby. You're coming at you.
Yeah. You'll have jagged edges coming off. Mario's arm will be disconnecting and stuff as he's running. It's gonna look. No way, man.
Look great, and it's gonna be excellent, and you're gonna buy it.
That's
another prediction. Bonus prediction. Bobby's gonna buy this day one.
Well, that's not really a prediction. That's just because I got.
That's just the truth.
That's just because I got a sickness, man. That's all that is. Yeah. All right, so that is all. Thank you guys for listening to another episode of the Nintendo PlayStation Podcast. Be sure to follow us on Twitter. You can follow Toby over on Twitter at Toby's_take. You can follow me at Nintendo Gurus. Check us out over on NintendoGuru.com. That's where you can find a lot of stuff that we're doing. A lot of podcasts are available over there, as well as iTunes, Google Play, everything else. Please check out the Nintendo Guru page over on YouTube. Hopefully this week, definitely by next week, Toby and I have a video going up. It's a collaboration video that we worked on. I think it's going to turn out to be really, really spectacular. So that is all. Peace out, Preston.
Where's Michael Jackson?
that is all. Peace out, Preston.
Where's Michael Jackson? Where is he? He's in here somewhere, Bobby.
What is wrong with you?
He's in here, look. He's Thriller. Thriller's somewhere in there, boy.
Is it like Where's Waldo?
Yeah, it's like Where's Wally, but it's Where's Michael Jackson?
Oh my god. What do you have that thing back there for?
And in the background, in the back of the book, they've got other celebrities. They've got multiple Jacksons. They've got Mick Jagger. They've got Madonna. They've got the Jackson 5. And they're all in there to find. Neverland.
I can't with you. I can't with you.
Dude, I've got a Street Fighter 2 Turbo one of these somewhere.
You're nuts.
Where you look for the Street Fighter characters.
What the hell's wrong with you? Okay. Man, you know what? I'm not going to worry about a second topic right now. We'll get into, because we got 2 shows. I'll come on with a second topic.
Okay.
Before we take a little break. And then we're not doing Get Your Facts here. We're going to play games. We're going to discuss games for a second one.
Okay.
Is that all right?
I've not really played any games.
Oh my god.
Well, I don't know.
That's right. Just give me a couple minutes and I'll just try to figure something out real quick.
Okay. Yeah. We'll figure it out, Bobby.
Oh, Toby, my back is killing me. Too old. All right, let me pull
You
my
got to do downward dog, Bobby.
If I go downward dog, it's going to be not pretty.
You do a roly poly.
There ain't gonna be a roly poly happening. I tell you right now. There's gonna be some finey hiney. Now, did you do? You got Nintendo news, right?
What do you mean? I've got Nintendo.
I mean, not
news.
Nintendo, Sony news. You got your 3 topics.
Yeah, I've got the 3 news. Free news stories. Yeah.
Well, the last time you only did 1. Because you decided you were going to try to tell me.
Oh, there was no news that week.
Well,
Bobby.
there's really not a lot of whole news for Sony. Sony's just trash.
They've been very quiet lately, but this week there's a lot more news. So
you got your Geek Out for show 1?
Yeah, I've got both Geek Outs. I'm prepped.
Well, I got Geek Outs for both, so that's fine. Okay. Are you ready?
Guess what?
We're a mess. Okay. Woo.
I thought you'd frozen. It's like Bobby's video's gone.
I did it on purpose. I'm just looking at my notes real quick. Okay, here we go. What is up, everybody, and welcome to Season 3, Episode 2 of the Nintendo PlayStation Podcast.